Okay, today we have this skid steer here, which has a few issues. We're going to get into the throttle issue later, but we're going to do a little tune-up work here on this machine. I got it all up, I got the hood open, and ready to do some work. So I'm going to set you guys here, and we'll start with replacing spark plug wires. Everything looks intimidating on this thing because it's like the wires run through there in a weird way and everything, but it's actually not that bad to work on. Your wires are hooked up into little grommets, you know you all. We're going to do the carburetor too, because that's not working very well. It's running lean and lopey and nasty, so we'll do the carburetor after this. I got the spark plug wires set. Now we got to remember which one's which, so I only do one at a time, like this. But they flow right up through, and it's actually not terrible to work on. So my longest wire is the farthest one away from the distributor. So we're going to find the longest wire here, like so. I hope everybody's got a good view here. You guys see, these are, people think they're very hard to work on, but they're really not. They just, are built a little different. Usually they drop right through there. There might be a little debris in the way or something, but we'll get it. Usually do. I don't know, maybe. Okay, that's it. Pull it back, get it in the way, slide it through, and put that back in. Okay, there we go. Pull that through too, and I'll pull it back down. There's that one. Let's get rid of the coil wire right out of the way. Now, last time I did this, I marked down with tape because this was not running at the guy's house. I had to go over there, and I already put the distributor cap and rotor in at his house to get it running. Of course, it was not running. So we did that there and got it running and got it here. Now I'm just setting these on the spark plugs because we're going to change them too. But these wires are really bad. They're all cracked open on boots in places like that one. No, number two, be the next one longest, right there. Okay, well I don't know if it's number two or not, but we're going to go with what's there. Of course. Okay, so this one's up here. These older models have points in them, and they were really nice looking, and I just cleaned them up a little. The distributor cap that was on here had no center pins, so it wasn't doing anything. Okay, there's your second one. I don't like the way that touches there either, but it's designed that way. No, I don't design them, well, actually I do, but not this one. Okay, we're going to come over here and put this back in. Those two are done. That's a good idea. Just finish up. Let's see if I can get it on there. Yeah, we got it, I think. Yeah, I think I got it. Step that up. Okay, take this one off. Yeah, get this one up here. Next one, longest to shortest, always works nice. That one, go through. This longest one is that one. Push it through. Now we're working good. Okay, that's that one. And the last one. No. Okay. Going to fight me. One of them had to fight me. That's it for the wires. Now we're going to get, we'll do the spark plugs, but then we're going to get into the fun part, the carburetor. And then this thing's going to run good. So that's it for the tune-up. Just put the plugs in here. Okay. Oh boy. That's tough. Look like that. Ooh, that's an oldie, I guess. So decent shape though. It's not bad, really. We'll put them in anyway. Okay, there. That is done. Oh, maybe not. Alright, make that put his spark plugs. Well, for now, let's get into the intimidating part. We'll just shove this button. I'm going to do the carburetor on this thing, because it's more difficult than tuning up. Now let's see if you're aimed at the carburetor good. We're going to do that next. Because the tune-up's done except for the coil wire. So we'll get you right in here by the carburetor. Okay, you see it down there? Now, it's not that bad. People look at it, wow, it's under there. How do you get it out? Okay. Well, there's a fuel line in the back you have to loosen. You gotta get it off of there. It's metal. you just loosen that up and take it off. And there's your fuel source. Okay? And you can take a screwdriver and get this throttle, or actually choke linkage, off first. It's over here. Okay. I should have grabbed a shorter screwdriver, I guess, but it worked, I think. Okay, so there's that. Then, it's very simple to remove the throttle. It's right here. So it's really one of the easier things to remove this carburetor. It's not bad. Just pull this out of there. And there's the throttle and the choke linkages are disconnected. Now we take a 1/2-inch socket. And get this one. One nice thing about this old stuff is it usually comes apart and goes together nicely. Old metal seems to be much better than new metal. It doesn't go away as quick as the new metal. And everything works good usually. Okay, so the carburetor just comes right out like that. That's it. Now we're gonna go and take it apart and clean it up. Ooh, look at that yellow. Ew. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna clean it. Okay, now these carburetors, in a way, kind of remind me of the Briggs & Stratton downdraft carburetors. You know how it drafts up that way. I don't know why they call it downdraft. I would call it updraft, but I don't know. I didn't name it. So we'll take this apart here and see what it looks like in there. And give it a good cleaning. I'm gonna probably pull the spark plugs out and crank the engine and get a little fuel out of it to see what the fuel sample looks like. Be sure there's no water in it or anything bad. But the carburetor will tell us a lot of the story when we get it opened. What's going on with this thing here? There's the gadgets in the way here. Screw to it. Stinky gas, I smell it already. Not real bad, I've smelled worse, but this is pretty stinky. Just a little stinky. Okay, I'm doing okay up there. Let's see. Safety gasket. Safety gasket. What safety gasket? Uh-oh. Gasket. But one of the funny gaskets sit next. Take that side. This is the gasket. Looks good. Still stuck on the gadget there, which comes with it. There we go. Okay. And there we have it. Not too messy there, but it was running lean and low-key, so I'm thinking we got a little issue here. We're going to clean it. Let's put this back in. See that this is looking good and clean, which it is. We're going to test this also in a minute here. Let's go back in there first. There we go. Okay, the float valve is working fine. You blow through here, flip it over. That's working. And this looks all pretty clean up here. But what gets dirty and is looking pretty dirty is the jets. This is where the main jet goes in. I'm going to clean all this out here. So let's blow some curb cleaner in here. Yes. Screwdriver. Here is our low jet, and there's our main jet. It's got a big main jet in it. Let's see what this one does. The screwdriver works, but it's a little tight in here. Well, let's see what we got. Looks pretty clear, but we're going to blow it out. Yeah, we're going to blow that out, the carburetor itself. Okay, so that's all clean. Look at there. I don't do that in the camera. I think we're pretty good now. Yeah, we got that cleaned out. And I know this is working. This all looks good in here, nice and clean. So we can put the jet back in there and put it back together. I still want to get a fuel sample out of the machine just to see what it looks like in there. That's a quickie carb cleaner. I blew everything out with air after blasting it out with carb cleaner. Some guys have them nice ultrasonic cleaners. Them things really do a job on the carburetor. But I don't have one, so I clean them the best I can. And usually they work pretty good. As long as they're in good shape and the floats are working and everything, they usually work pretty good if they're cleaned. like I said, these carburetors kind of look intimidating because they're stuck under the manifold. They're really not bad to do. Very simple carb. So if we put this thing back on there, and if we put this back on there, and put a coil wire on this thing, it should fire up. If I have the charging system working, I have to put it in all the way. This screw's going to be fun to start. Let's just do that. One more screw to go after this one. We can go back in there with it. One. And then this last little. Okay. I'll shut you off and we'll get back to the machine in. Okay, so we're back to put this carburetor back in. First of all, during intermission, I hooked up a hose and I turned it over a little bit and pumped some gas out. It looks a little murky, but it smells like normal gas. I'm just hoping that it's going to be all right. Now, first of all, we got to get this choke cable back in its little hole back here. The throttle we can do after. But first we gotta get this, look at that, back in its hole. And get this back bolt started. Like I said, it's not a very hard job. It just looks hard because it's down in there. People get a little scared sometimes. Ooh, look where that carburetor is. It's reachable, it's doable. It's not too bad. And as I was saying, these older engines, they just are so good. All the bolts work good. Everything just works. Now there is an adjuster on this carburetor. They put it way back under there. It's crazy. Where they put it? It's in there. Okay, so we'll get the fuel line on now. Which feels a little loose on the pump too. I'm gonna have to check that. We'll get the throttle hooked back up over here. And that was it, just about. I just tightened everything up good, and carburetor job is about done. Got the fuel line, both ends to make sure, of course, because I felt movement down here, and sure enough, it's going to be loose. Yep, a little bit. So that's good. Put it in there. This machine's going to need some work on the throttle and some other things too, which I'll do videos of course. But this one here is tune up and carb clean. And then we'll fire it up and see how it runs. It'll take a little bit to fire it. It's going to get full again and everything. Okay, so let's open up. Let's look this way. Like I said, it was not a hard carburetor to do. No. This throttle is way out of whack. We're going to adjust this later too. Well, let's get the choke hooked up properly first. Choke on, off. Off is right there, so let's tighten that up in that position. then we'll stick a coil wire on it and some spark plugs in it and see what it does. Okay, I'm gonna get right in your face for a minute, sorry. Just to tighten up this choke cable. Okay, so that choke is good. Let's do the other spark plugs and I'll lube the holes a little bit because it felt a little weird there coming out. They may want to move it back. No, I think I can do this. A little lube in there. Okay, so now I've put my spark plugs in there. I ran out of gas. Well, my camera ran out of gas, actually memory. But since then I put the spark plugs in. That's simple. So I hooked up the linkages last time you saw me. I think we're just about ready to run. Now I found that adjuster for the low end of the carburetor is way up in here, like way down in there. You actually have to go under the exhaust manifold to get to it, but let's see if this thing runs. Okay, she's back to running. Now, one thing I want to check is, due to the fact that it's an air-cooled engine, I'm not getting a lot of airflow out of this side. I'm not going to bore you guys with the details, but I'm going to just pull this cover back and take a look inside there. Unless you want to see it, but this video is getting pretty long. Just going to check that, but it seems to be running good now. No more loping, no more problems. It idles, it sounds pretty good. So that's how we do it. We tune up our Wisconsin engine. I spared you guys the gory details of getting all them bolts out, but I had a feeling there was a mouse nest in here. Well, guess what? My feeling was correct. It is a mouse nest and a half. It's like a really big one. There's probably one in the other side too, because I don't feel much flow over there. So we're gonna get rid of them, evict them. Look at that. Oh my gosh. That is nice. Yummy. I know this was run a little bit like this because, and I know this side was overheated because them spark plugs came out hard. You could see it. in the video that I had a lot of fun getting a couple of spark plugs out. So, yeah, it was just blocked right up with mouse nest. We gotta get that all out of there and blow that out. And maybe we'll do the other side, but always check your airflow on your air-cooled engines or you burn them up. I'll be back. Okay, now I got the mouse nest out of the one side. I got our bolts out of this side. And I don't know what's in here yet. I wanted to save that for the camera. So let's see what's in here. Ooh, a little mouse nester again. Look at that. That's enough to kill the engine right there. Because it blocks off the airflow through these fins, which, since I started it just for a minute, I can feel the heat in here. This is holding heat. I don't want to put my fingers down there, because there might be some feces and nasties in there. So I'll just scrape it out and get it up out of there. It's chunky in the corner here. So anyway, I'm going to do this, and I just wanted to show you guys that this is what happens, and it will actually kill your engine. I wanted to show people that, you know, they get mouse nests in them and then they get killed because they overheat. So basically, that's that. I'm going to finish with the blower and everything. I'll turn you back on in a bit and then we'll fire it up again. Okay, so we did alright. We got the mousers out of there and the nest, which is some there and a big pile over there. So we got all this stuff out of there. We got the spark plugs back in. Let's see what it does now. I'll see if we got some airflow going. Well, I don't know if you can see it on the video, but it looked like it was snowing in here, the crap flying out of the engine that I missed. But, oh my, everywhere. That's my video.